All right, what is happening, Fish and Friends? I think we're live. I'm going to turn my light on up here. I think that might help a little bit. I think we're live. Let me know in the comments if we're working and going here. I do see some numbers jumping in. People saying it's time. Let's see. Woohoo! Let me know. I always like somebody to at least let me know in the live to make sure it's working. I don't want to be talking for like 15 minutes and somebody message me and be like, "Hey, you haven't been live. What's going on?" So as soon as I get somebody saying, "Yep, you're live. It's working," I'm going to start talking. You're good, my guy, Fat Boy Fishing. Nick, I should have had you jump in with me. Didn't even think about it. I don't have anybody on. Unfortunately, Rand Dizzle has some family stuff to attend to tonight, so he couldn't make it. Thoughts and prayers out to Rand Dizzle. Miss you, brother. Hopefully everything's well. But tonight, I am going live, and we are talking summer lures, summer fishing, summer setups, everything summer fishing, whatever questions you have. And a lot of that is going to be up to you all. So I encourage you to leave questions over in the comments. Of course, anybody who donates, I will be sure to highlight that comment, make sure I get to it. Donations are always supported. I don't ask for them, but anybody who does support the channel, it means a lot. Goes to shipping out giveaways, putting up other gear. In fact, tonight is going to be a giveaway. Since it is Father's Day, happy Father's Day. I am a father myself. I have 2 girls. So all you fathers out there, appreciate your family, appreciate everything that you've got around you, because it's the things we take for granted too often that are the most important to us. So for Father's Day, I'm going to be giving away the Bass Pro Shops Extreme Baitcast Reel. I honestly forgot I had this, but this is their, I think $79 reel, and it's got an aluminum frame. So I feel like it kind of takes place of the Pro Qualifier. I do have one of the Pro Qualifier 2, the like the silver blue one. It was like a limited edition deal. I know my guy Tackle Junkie turned me on to like the regular regular Pro Qualifiers. I never used the original one, but this one I picked up a while back. Honestly, forgot about it. It's a pretty sweet looking reel, pretty clean looking. I'm pretty boring when it comes to reels. I honestly like an all black, maybe with some silver or white on it. Nothing too flashy. I do like that it's got like the rubber thumb grip here. It is a lefty, so that's the only deal. There was not a right-hand retrieve when I picked it up. So for the winner tonight, it will be a left-hand retrieve. If you end up winning, the way I'm going to do it is, since it's Father's Day, I'm going to ask a trivia question toward the end of the stream, and it's going to be something geared toward my father. So if you answer correctly, I'll get you a reel. If you win it and you're not a lefty, I'm sure we can work something out. Just have Instagram hit me up after the stream and we'll talk. But if you're a lefty, you'll get this one. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But happy Father's Day to everyone. Mothers, fathers, parents, everyone out there. Welcome. It's a lot of work having a kid. Like, when you're first getting ready to have a kid, it's always, I'm not ready. I don't know what I'm doing. And even when you think you're ready to have that kid, I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how they're sending me home with this human to be responsible for. It was the weirdest feeling ever. So, oh my gosh, that's funny. I just saw something. Yeah, it's the weirdest feeling ever. But anyway, tonight we're talking summer fishing. So everybody in the comments, let me know. If you have a question, comment about summer fishing, whatever it may be, let me know. So I'll just give kind of a quick little recap. My summer fishing, I got out last night on the John boat. The goal was to get some offshore fishing going since I installed the depth finder. Now that video didn't do amazing. Apparently people don't care about seeing me do John boat builds. But I did put a depth finder on my John boat, took it out. It's pretty cool. I just have to figure out what in the heck I'm doing with it because, yeah, I don't know. I know the depth part of it, like when I can see humps and stuff, but it's got like the down imaging, side imaging. I've never used any of that, so that's going to be a learning curve for me. But the goal is to get on some offshore fish. I didn't get in on any offshore fish. We were offshore cranking. So I ended up, we were working like a long gradual dropping off point. I went out with my buddy Brando. He was in his boat. He was fishing like a Ned rig, I think, and something else on the bottom. Didn't get any bites. I saw some fish moving up shallow, and I saw some pike cruising shallow. So I tied on a whopper plopper, and that was the deal for me. Fishing around shallow wood with the whopper plopper. I just kept that in my hand. So that'll be a video coming up soon. Let's see what else. I had a good video with the Texas rig. So here in Iowa, it's been like 90, like 90 something degrees, unusually hot. Also, it's been like a drought. So we've already had low water. Like some of the places I'm fishing are like almost 3 feet low. It's crazy. And I was just looking they had a deal talking about the weather here in Iowa. And I think we're 8 or 9 inches below our average rainfall for this year already. And last year we were already low with drought. So everything's dry, craziness, but still managing to catch fish. Being on the John boat helps because a lot of the places I would hit from the bank are way lower. And like a lot of the places, it might be a 3-foot drop off where it goes from the bank and there's that little drop off and then it gets flat. Well, a lot of the places I'm fishing, those drop offs that we used to hit for shallow fish, wood, rock piles and stuff, all that's completely up out of water. So it's like having to figure out a whole new lake. And a lot of the places you just need a boat now, boat, kayak, John boat, something to get off the bank. So it's been kind of tough, but I'm working my way around it. What else? I've had some good wacky rig videos. I dropped one wacky rig where it was actually Brando and I again in his John boat. And I think together we put together like a 20-ish pound bag, which is awesome, for us fishing here in Iowa and, not a tournament or anything. Great day of healthy fish. And I got on another day of wacky rigs shortly after that. So I'm like 2 weeks behind in videos, but I will be trying to get those out as soon as I can. I did see we got a donation. Hey, my guy, Fish Daddy. You'll want to see somebody who makes some awesome soft plastics. Check him out. You can't really see it, but back there when I do my, like in front of the camera talking stuff, I've actually got some of his plastics that he made sitting up there because I don't want to fish them. They're too dang pretty. But what do you say? Happy Father's Day, dude. Hopefully get out on the boat with the family tomorrow. I hope so. Happy Father's Day to you. He's also a girl dad like me. I have 2 girls, so the house is full of estrogen, lots of feelings. I now cry at movies that I never cried at before. What do? You got to embrace it. I hope so. We're supposed to have storms. It's like it figures. It's 90 bajillion degrees, and then when I do have free time to go, it's raining. Thanks, weather. So we'll see how that goes. So thank you very much, Fish Daddy. Happy Father's Day to you. What do we have for? I see Fishing with Gramps is in here. Also a dad. He's actually had the grandkiddos over. What a good way to spend Father's Day, my friend. What else? Hey, the Bait Man. Like the hat. So Bait Man says, like the hat, Debo. Hope I don't burn the bait room down tonight. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you, Baxter the Bait Man. Be sure to go flood his stream after mine. I'll probably go right up to 9. So we'll probably go about an hour and a half. He's going live at 9 Central, and he's going to be making jigs. So he got some stuff from Do It. I'm proud to be working with them on some projects and stuff this year. They're an Iowa company right here. Super nice people. So they sent him some stuff, and he's going to be making some jigs on his live. So go check it out. Go flood his. He is a super nice guy. What do we have for some fishing questions? How's your fishing been going, everyone? This is one thing I want to talk about. I did finally get out to do some frog fishing. If you've been around my channel any amount of time, you know that frog fishing is my absolute favorite. Jesse Smith says, recommendations on gaining confidence in frog fishing. Man, I need to do like a whole video on this, like start to finish with frog fishing, because I feel like people make frog fishing a lot harder than it should be. I'll ask somebody, they'll be like, oh yeah, I can catch fish on a Rebel Pop R all day, but when it comes to a frog fish, I can't catch anything. And I think like people have this misconception that you have to have the dirty, scummiest, cheesiest, gross stuff to be able to throw a frog. But you can catch frogfish skipping a frog under overhangs, like no scum or anything in sight, along grass edges, along reed edges, like those reeds, those fingery, like cattail looking things. Anywhere where there's like an indent. So let's say this is all reeds, and there's like an indent here where it bumps in. Perfect spot to throw a frog and walk it out. Fish will sit in those in ambush. And same thing for like a point. If it's all like straight reeds and there's a spot where it points out, throw next to that and walk that frog out. Fish will sit, bass will sit just inside those reeds. Like if this is a whole bunch of those reeds, they'll sit right in here. Whoops, I guess I should do it this way. They'll sit like right in here and wait for something to come by and come out and hit it. So, fishing shallow over them, you can cut the legs super short and walk it just like you would a popper or a pencil bait. I've caught fish open water doing that around like shallow wood. That, like I was saying, that's how I caught all of them last night, was with a whopper plopper, and I guarantee I could have thrown a frog in some of those spots too. But like for YouTube, it's different when you like have YouTube videos to make because you want it to be somewhat cohesive. Like it's hard if you're kind of junk fishing and you have like 15 different lures you're catching fish on, for me anyway, because it's like, how do I title the video? How do I get like the video to flow together? So when I start hitting them on one thing, I will embrace that and just go. So last night I caught like 3 fish, boom, 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 on a whopper plopper. I basically put everything else down and said, yep, I'm going whopper plopper. I'm going to try to replicate this everywhere else around the lake. And it just makes for a more cohesive video. You know, I can get a thumbnail of a, you know, whopper plopper on my rod. You know, it's something about whopper plopper fishing. It just makes it so much easier. But you know, if I was just out fishing and I had a spot where I thought I might catch them on a frog, I'd probably pick up a frog and throw that. But Jesse, my recommendation is get a frog, put a frog in your hand, find spots that look froggy, and only take that out. Because if you have a confidence bait like a Cinco or Ned rig, whatever it is, if you bring most of those, you know, 2 or 3 combos, and you're struggling, get bit on the frog, chances are you're going to go to your confidence bait and put that frog away after like an hour. Basically, that's how I am with big swim baits and glide baits. I have zero confidence in them. I see people catching fish on them all the time. I take them out and I'm like, I just don't feel like I know a time where I go out and be like, dude, it is perfect glide slash swim bait weather right now. I'm going to kill them on it. Like, you know, I can do that with like a wacky rig, a frog, a spinnerbait. Like there's times where I just know like, dude, it feels like I'm going to crush them on this today. I don't ever have that with like a glider swim bait. So put just that in your hand and get time in on the water. So we got people saying, hey, what's up? Listening to, oh, awesome. One of my guys, local guys, Chris, saying, listening to DEBO Live, we're catching some dinks out at one of our local lakes. Awesome, dude. Good luck, my friend. He's a fellow Iowa guy. Hopefully, actually, we'll hook up, Chris, Mr. Chris Russ. We've been talking back and forth. Hopefully, we'll hook up and fish some local waters here. Yeah, Jay Wren in Texas said, Texas has been crazy hot and fishing has been slow. I heard we've got a Texas office. My day job, you know, my regular 8 to 5 is insurance. And we have an office down in Texas, and apparently like the humidity or heat or something down there, they've had to close some of the buildings because of certain reasons. I don't know if the air conditioners weren't working, something like that, but apparently they were having multiple issues in that town. So I don't know if it was just so hot and stuff was messing up. But yeah, one of my other vendors that I work with is in Arizona, and like we would go there and it'd be like 120 and like just craziness. I don't know how people could deal with it being that hot. More people saying, hey, how's it going? Fish Daddy says, is Iowa the YouTube fishing capital of the world? Absolutely not. There was a pretty cool graph. I think it was Mystery Tackle Box that put it out, showing like all the PBs over the U.S. I couldn't believe some of the PB sizes. Iowa is like 10 pounds, I think 13 ounces, and I believe it's a female angler that holds the PB record in Iowa, which there's only a few states that have that, which is pretty awesome. That's dang cool. But I think it was Georgia or Alabama had like a 22-pound bass was the state record. I couldn't imagine. That's 3 times as big as the bass that I've caught for my personal best. It would literally feel like a log. I don't even know that I've hooked a log that's 22 pounds and got it in. I don't know what I'd do. Okay, my guy, Fat Boy Fishing, Nick, we got to get you on a stream sometime, dude. Do you think a wacky rig shines more in clear water than in dark water? So for me, when I go out fishing a wacky rig, I don't necessarily like think clear versus stained. I think it is more of a sight deal. So I think like cleaner, stained-ish water does better. Super muddy, you'd have to get it like right on top of their head. But for me, a wacky rig is like a point of interest bait or like a high percentage area bait. So I know there's some guys that go out with just a wacky rig and throw it everywhere and, you know, bounce it up and down and have fun fishing it everywhere. It's too slow for me. If I'm bouncing a wacky rig, I'm throwing it around like I was talking about, those points in the reeds where it looks like it would hold a fish, or if there's an isolated brush pile or an isolated piece of reeds. I actually talk about that in my John Boat video when I go out and I'm throwing it. where I'm having luck and what I look for. But I personally don't just take a wacky rig and fish it everywhere. I try to hit those high percentage spots where I think there's going to be a fish. But yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of drawing power to a wacky rig, which is what makes it so awesome. Is it's just a very non-obstructive, like, I don't even know what to say, like just a very injured, natural looking deal. And that's what makes it so good. So yeah, I think more clearish to stain dish water. I wouldn't use a wacky rig in like super muddy water unless it's a spot like if it's a brush pile where I've been catching fish and I'm not getting any more bites. You can throw like that or a Texas rig in there and pick up some of those fish that you missed. Got a couple donations coming in. Eric, any chance you can do a tutorial on walking a frog? Catching a bunch after watching your pitching and flipping vids. Thank you, Mr. Stubbs rocks. Mr. Stubbs is upstairs. He was on my old lady's naughty list. He hates small varmints, which is funny because he's the sweetest dude ever. Like gets along with other dogs, doesn't care about cats, doesn't care about other animals until it comes to like small rodenty things. So it must be the terrier in him. We had like a shrew or something out back that like tunneled and like he saw it like scurrying running next to our house and went under the girls' like sandbox. They have like a round sandbox thing out there. And my wife was like watering flowers on the side of the house, and we've got a fenced in backyard. He dug a hole and like ripped part of the sandbox deal apart. So he was on the naughty list, but I can do a tutorial on walking a frog. I'll include that. I'll do a full frog video. I mean, like I said, frog fishing is by far my favorite. So I'll try to go over everything from starting with the rod reel line, some frogs I like, colors, and then take you out on the water looking at spots. Okay, here's where I'd throw a frog. And there's different ways to work it. Like that's something that I've told Randy about because Randy and we had an awesome night fishing the frog. He's like, you need to come up here and hit some of these river backwaters and stuff with me. And he was upset because that morning he went out and missed like, I don't know, 10 fish, he said, like a ton of fish, like good bluffs, not like the small ones where a lot of times you've got big bluegill / small bass hitting it. You can just tell they just kind of pop it. And though it's fun, you can tell they're small fish, right? So you can't get mad when you miss those. But he was having big blowups and missing it. And a lot of times that's pike. Like, I don't know why pike miss so much, but like they'll blatantly just, I'll be working a frog and it'll go by like 2 seconds and then they're like, back here behind it. I don't know what the deal is. But I'll go over like the different retrieves. One that's really been working for me is when you walk a frog doing sharp pops, like toot, 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 real quick. So it like does a little spit each side and then killing it. So instead of like a regular walking bait where I like for bass fishing, I just kind of walk in a normal cadence, you know, like a spook is how I work those. With the frog, I'll get on the outside of that grass line, and instead of chugging it, so some people will throw a frog out, and some frogs are better at this than others, and they'll just kind of chug it. So it's like doop, 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 doop. So it kind of looks like a frog, like kind of swimming. But I'll do this like 2, 3, 4, where it's like real quick and then kill it. Kill it. I mean, there's a number of different ways you can do it, but that has worked really well for me, that spitting, especially if you're like I was saying again, around one of those high percentage spots. If you're like, you might be walking at normal, then when you come up to a brush pile, like, and it will almost sit in spot, and it just drives those fish nuts. So yeah, I can definitely do that, man, for sure. I could talk frog fishing all day. We got another donation coming in. Vince, thank you for the love, my man. Favorite finesse jig trailer. For sure, favorite finesse jig trailer is a Reaction Innovations Little Beaver. Does this happen to be one right here? Oh, it is. Yeah, the Smalley Beaver. So this is a 3.5 inch. This is from Reaction Innovations. I'm not sponsored by them. I keep saying Reaction Innovations, if you want to work with me and bring a truckload over, I'd love it. I'm kidding. But this is the Smalley Beaver, 3.5 inches. This is the color they call Infection. So it's like green pumpkinish with swirls of Junebug and like chartreuse through it. Just a really neat, weird, different color. That's so far been my favorite. I know Randizzle's favorite is the Rage Chunk, the Rage Craw Chunk. It's got a lot of movement to it. This is more of like an earlier in the year deal because there's no movement to this. So with these guys, you just break the little pincher deals apart. This is like their bigger sweet beaver, and that's all there is to it. So when it's down on the bottom, it looks, whoops, I guess it go this way. It looks very natural, just kind of floating, just kind of moving. Nothing really to it. So I know he likes the Rage Chunk. What else have I used? The NetBait Pack-A-Craw. I do like those, or the Pack-A-Chunk. It comes in just like a trailer deal too. What else have I used? For the longest time, I used the, gosh, what are they called? I used the regular Rage Craws from Strike King. Gosh, I can't think of what those are called, those weird craw-looking deals. I don't know, completely blew my mind, but something like that. The thing is, there's so many of them out there on the market now, like, it really just comes down to what you have confidence in. I mean, the way I break it down simply, like in easy terms, is like the colder the water is, the less action I want. Once that water starts getting up to like, I don't know, 55, 60, I'll go with something that has more action. So that's where I was saying like the beaver that doesn't really do anything is more of like a cooler water deal. Then once the water starts warming up, I'll go with something that has more of a kick to it. So hopefully that helps. Thank you so much for the donation, man. I appreciate that a lot. Let's see, what else do we have for some fun questions? I see a couple people asking, fishing the Mississippi. Yeah, man, I don't get out on the Mississippi. The only chance I get out on the Mississippi is when I go with my old man. He's got a, what is it, 18-foot deep V. Is it a Lumacraft? I think it's an Lumacraft. All I've got is my little 11-foot John boat, and I haven't got all the way through the comments, but on that video I was talking about, some people were saying, yeah, you should do like a John boat to bass boat build and build like a deck on there. I don't feel comfortable putting a deck on that little 11-foot John boat. It's not very wide. It's not very stable. I guarantee I would be going, and people are like, oh, I have a 12-foot and I do it. You got bigger strawberries than me, because I'm not doing that in my little 11-foot John boat. There's sometimes I'm like standing in the middle of it, and I always stand like with my feet wide, and I've almost went over. So maybe I just suck and my balance isn't very good. But I've been looking at, like my buddy shared like an older, it was like a 1992, I forget what it was, bass boat that somebody redid. Looked super clean, looked really nice, but they were selling it for like $4,500, like $5,000. So if I could get like an old bass boat, as long as it was structurally sound and had, I think it had like a 50 horse something on it that was all redone, looked nice and clean. If I could get something like that, I mean, that's basically the price of a John boat that I'd spend on it. I think it'd be fun. I mean, Dizzle do some old school rebuild stuff on it. Let's see. I've had other people asking me about like different jigs. Jigs would have to be like a whole video. There's so much on jigs. You've got like round ball head finesse jigs, which is what Randizzle and I fish a ton from the bank. I think they work really well. Prior to that, I used to throw just a flipping jig. Like I never threw round ball head finesse type stuff. More just like your jig and pig. And that's what I grew up fishing. You know, you've got different jig heads. You've got swim jigs. You've got skipping jigs. You've got like hybrid jigs, football jigs. Like there's a ton of them out there. So I feel like that would be its own video, everything together. Let's see what else. X Zone. Yep, some people talking about some of the X Zone stuff. The Adrenaline Bug, is that the one that looks like the Reaction Innovate, or the not the Zoom Z-Craw? I like it. I did order a bunch of stuff from Zoom a while back. I feel like they're kind of fly under the radar company. I feel like they don't get the respect they need sometimes. They have some cool stuff. Oh my gosh, I've got some other donations that came in here and I missed them. Let's see. Rob Winslow says, happy Father's Day from South Dakota. Rob, it looks like your picture, you are also a father. Happy Father's Day, my friend. If you have a question, leave it in the comments. I will try to get to it. Thank you very much for donating. Let's see. My guy, G-Fan Kim, for the Dizzle Kilt Fund. We've still got that going. I've told him. So he's having trouble editing videos. And I feel like he's been procrastinating on the editing. So I told him about the editing deal I use. He said he's going to do that. So hopefully we can get him kicked in the butt enough to get his own channel up. And that will be one of the videos he does, is Dizzle fishing in a kilt. Okay, so let's see. What other summer lure questions do we have out there? I was trying to think if I had anything else. I thought I had something else I wanted to talk about too after I went over my fishing experience. One thing I want to do, I do see people ask about that quite a bit, is some, not necessarily creek fishing, but it could be like backwaters of the river, doing more smallmouth fishing. Here in Iowa, we have a couple lakes that have them, but it's not like, you know, amazing like Mille Lacs or anything like that. They just have them where smallmouth are stocked in there and you can catch them. But mostly around here, it's going to be like, you know, river fishing, that kind of stuff where you go, you know, creek type stuff. So I want to do some of that. I am not a smallmouth guy. Like, I've grown up largemouth fishing. That's been my deal. So we'll see if we can get on some of that soon. But I do get asked that question a lot. What else? What else do you all have for me tonight? You all are in charge. I want to know your questions. There's so dang many going through here. I'm trying to, let's see. People asking about what time stuff works better. Plastics work better. Alan, I'm not sure if this was replying to somebody else. Plastics work better in the morning and evening or anytime. So for me, like summer weather now, fish are going to be more active low light. Bass, I should say, largemouth bass. So like for me, the first couple hours, sun up, of course, you know, you can get your topwater game on. And then if you get bluebird skies in the middle of the day, like we haven't had rain for, I don't know, 3 weeks. Oh, Paul's in here. Paul Glass, Pepperoni, Polly Pepperoni. I should have had you jump on with me, man. I thought you were still up in wherever. But first couple hours in the morning, a couple hours after dark or before dark. That's like the what do you call it? The special time when you can really get that topwater bite going. Fish are going to be more active, lower light, the more apt to move and feed. Once it gets to be bluebird skies, high sun, fish are going to go where they feel comfortable, right? So they're going to go to shade. If they want to eat somewhere where they can continue to eat and feel safe. So that's where you're looking at like docks, pads. You know, if you've got big scummy pad stuff, you can still catch frogfish middle of the day, high sun. If you've got a place where fish are hiding, you know, we were out fishing, Randy and I, during the middle of the day, and I still caught a couple frogfish. High sky, you know, like 1 o'clock, no clouds in the sky at all. So once it starts to hit that high sky, that's when I pick up the soft plastics, and that's when I'll start flipping and pitching like, you know, shallow brush. If we have docks, we don't have a ton of docks around here, but any sort of like man-made structure that's going to leave like a canopy over them. So they're, you know, feeling safe, comfortable in the dark. Usually you're not going to find a largemouth bass just sitting out in the middle of the open, you know, as long as it's not spawn or post-spawn where they're guarding and stuff. Right now, we're pretty much all post-spawn. You're not just going to find a bass just sitting in the middle of the open, cooking in the sun, right? Usually they're going to be somewhere safe. If you go to like Bass Pro Shops or I forget where it was, somebody sent me a picture of it. I think it might have been the Classic or somewhere they had a tank, but there was, you know, sometimes you'll see like bass kind of suspended going back and forth. And those fish are a little bit different, but a lot of them you're going to see are nose right up to whatever structure they have in there. And in this tank, they had like a little platform at the bottom that was maybe, I don't know, a foot tall. And there was like 5 fish stacked all in it, sitting in the dark, all just lined up next to each other. They were safe. They had, you know, cover over them. That's what they do. That's what they go to. So that's when I break out the plastics, you know, like a bigger worm, a flipping bait. It might be a shaky head, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. But that's when I break out the plastics. What else do we have? TJ, I see a bunch of people saying, hey, TJ, do we have the Mr. Tackle Junkie himself jumping in here? There he is. My dude, Tackle Junkie. If you guys don't follow him, make sure you go follow him. He's also a dad. Good guy. He has his YouTube channel, Tackle Junkie 81. Go look him up. You'll find him. We got a bunch of familiar faces in here. Jeff Lauer. Jeff, I know your name from watching the guys over at Burley, Mr. Burley himself, and Paul that I saw in here. So that's funny that we all kind of share subscribe Fish and Friends. Oh, Paul says he's unpacking. Both of those guys are also fathers. Make sure you go check out Burley's channel. He also has a YouTube channel. He does a live every, Thursday night at 8, 7, something like that. I don't know. Paul probably leave it in the comments. 2 good guys. Best way to catch a biggin. Joshua Flores says, well, Joshua, you are on the wrong channel if you want to catch biggins because we have Debo Dinks around here. I'm kidding. Actually, this year's been pretty good for size. I was just out, like I said, with Randizzle, and I caught a very good sized fish for around here on a frog. I caught a very good sized fish on a wacky rig, and I caught a really good one on flipping a Missile Baits D-bomb. That's another video I've got coming. So, and it's kind of a crapshoot. I just saw my guy Oki. He also has his own channel. Caught his PB an 8-pound something on the 8 or 9 inch bull shad, the Mike Buka bull shad. I don't know, man. I don't have confidence in like the big swim baits and glide baits. Maybe someday. I just need to go out with a pro who's like, part of the problem, and I've talked about it before, is like you have to put just that in your hand, fish just that for the whole day, and know that you're only going to be getting a couple bites. And it's hard for me because like I'm a numbers guy over quality. Like I'd rather go out and just slay catching like 30-some pound-and-a-half, 2-pound bass, as opposed to going out and catching like 1 5.5, 6-pounder. I don't know, maybe that's not the right mindset to have, but I just love going out and catching them. And for YouTube videos, it's hard because I don't get to fish all the time. I don't do this full time, maybe someday, but if I go out for a full day and I'm like, look, I might only catch one fish, like that's really hard from, a YouTube point of view, because nobody wants to watch me go out and cast for 10 minutes and then finally catch one at the end. Unless there was something funny that happened in between. Maybe if like Randizzle punches me and pushes me in. I don't know. What else do we have? Ooh, here's a good one. I get asked this all the time. JW, how long do you stick with a bait before you tie something else on? Man, we've got 250-some people in here. That's awesome. If you're just joining, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate you. Anybody that leaves a donation, I saw I got another donation. Thank you. I appreciate that a ton. I will be sure to get to your question. It means a lot. It goes to things like shipping, doing giveaways like I am doing tonight. TJ, are you still in here? Have you used this one? The Bass Pro Shops Extreme bait cast reel. This is their I think it's $79. It has an aluminum frame. To me, it looks extremely similar to like the Pro Qualifier 2. I personally like the looks of this a lot better. I mean, it's a sleek looking reel. This is a lefty. I'm going to be giving this away later. I've got a trivia question to ask, and whoever gets it first on my screen, I will be giving this away to them. But I'm actually going to do a video on it first. I'm going to do like a first thoughts, take it out, cast it a little bit. So I'll spool it for you, and then I will send it out to you after I'm done with that video next week. But I will be giving that baby away. So JW, how long do you stick with a bait before you tie something else on? Dude, that's the magic question. If I knew that, I bet I would be rich upon rich. So for me, I think it goes back to your confidence in finding fish and your confidence in the lure that you're throwing. So if it's a day where it's pretty cloudy and I've got some ripple on the water and it's not 18 bajillion degrees out, the water's like maybe up to 70 degrees, I am 9.9 out of 10 confident that I can catch a fish on a spinnerbait. Like you're fishing those high percentage spots, down wood, steep drop-offs, where you've got like a little, it might be like a riverbed, whatever it is, where fish are feeding. Like that's something I have confidence in. I'm going to keep that in my hand longer. Or like a frog, if I'm in a spot where, even if I'm fishing a new lake, if I'm fishing a new lake that I've never been to, but the conditions and the way the lake sets up and looks, like from 20 yards out from the bank, it's only 5-6 feet deep, and it's got kind of sparse pads and scum. That's extremely similar to everything I fish in, a lot of my other lakes. I'm going to spend more time on that with the frog. Like if I think the frog bite's going to be on, I'm going to spend more time with that. Now, fast forward to a day where I'm out on a new lake and somebody tells me they caught a big fish on a swim bait there. That happened to me recently. I threw the swim bait for like an hour and a half. I didn't have any followers. To me, I felt like that was too long and I gave up on it. It was a bait I didn't have confidence in. Those baits where you don't feel like the conditions, the time, the place, the water temp, all that kind of together. If you're just so unsure, I would switch off. And unfortunately, a lot of that's just going to come with time on the water. That's why I say, and I will argue it, I will die on that hill. The number one determining or like the deciding factor between a professional angler and just like a regular weekend angler is the ability to consistently find fish. If you can consistently find fish, you're going to catch them, because it might be those fish might eat a shaky head on that ledge. They might eat a Ned rig. They might eat a drop shot. you're going to fish to your strength. But if you can consistently locate fish, I mean, that's the deal. Because how many times do you go out with someone, you're like, where do you think they're at today? Like, once you're not getting bites, you're like, dude, I don't know. I can't figure it out. I have no clue where they're at today. I thought it would be here. I don't know. And then you start to get spun out. Then you start fishing fast, or then you start fishing like 15 different baits an hour, just flipping through stuff, hoping you get a lucky pick. So yeah, I'll argue that until I'm blue in the face. But to me, it boils down to fishing your strengths. And if it's not working, trying to figure out something else that's similar to your strengths and still get bites. And it's weird because like you'll watch some of these pros and you'll have a guy fishing offshore that's just destroying them. That's literally like 30 some pounds ahead of, like if you watch an MLF, 30 some pounds ahead of the next guy in line. And the gap from the first place guy to like the 8th place guy, all those 7 guys at the bottom might be within like 5 pounds of each other. And this other guy's like, 10, 20, 30 some pounds out ahead of him. He's got it figured out, So it's, I don't know. Fishing can humble you real quick, even if you're good. I mean, you see KVD. I mean, he just recently won the MLF. I forget which one that was, but you'll see days where he's out there struggling, like fishing will humble you. So I don't have the answer, man, but I can tell you that the more time you put on the water, the more comfortable and the more confident you will get in certain baits and certain types of presentations. Let's see. I did see we had a donation come in. Where are you? Was Alan the last one? Alan, I want to make sure there was nobody else behind you. Okay. So Alan said, where are you? Hey, DEBO, thanks for the stream. Well, Alan, thank you very much for the donation, sir. I appreciate that. My guy Neil Bone is in here. Do it as a side series or something. I would watch it with a big swim bait. Oh, yeah, Neil just donated. What'd you donate there, Neil? What was your comment? How's the bait making been going? What have you been making? Jigs, painting, or all of it? Dude, I feel like such a turd because I've said for like the past 2 months, I feel like a piece of crap. I've said for like the past 2 months, I've had people like wanting to buy my stuff, and I haven't sat down and made the time to get the website all done. My guy Brando that I've been talking to you about, he's been nice enough to help me building a website. He does that. That's his like full-time job. So I thank him a ton for that. I just need to sit down, get pictures taken. It's just like kind of time consuming. Again, I do all this in my free time. So painting crankbaits, making jigs, making YouTube videos, all the Instagram stuff, everything is in my free time when I'm not working or spending time with the family. So bait making recently has been kind of put on the back burner because I've been trying to get out any amount of free time I have. I want to try to get out and fish and get, content saved up. So it's hard. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's almost there. So close, almost there. Basically need to get some pictures done. We actually sat down the other night. I had a whole bunch of stuff that I've painted, stuff that I've done duplicates in. This is kind of like the demon color, some oranges, purples, reds, craws. I sat down and did a batch of some crappie. I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming out. It will be soon. I need to just make a day, maybe tomorrow. If it's raining, maybe tomorrow I get done and try to finish that up. But painting, I did some painting stuff. I haven't made jigs for a bit. I need to get back out and do some of that, do a video on making jigs. I've got a new idea for a swim jig. So I think that'll be fun. I don't know. What else? What else we got going here? What kind of frogs do you recommend? Actually, if you check out the video on Monday, F&C Outdoors asked that. Check out the video on Monday. I'm doing my top 5 summer bass fishing lures. I've had a ton of people messaging me about summer lure ideas. So I've got that coming out and actually talk about some of my favorite frogs. So that should work very well for you. What else do we have? You have a billion things. Yeah, people saying you have a billion things going on. Yeah, and like I've told people that before, like I'm never going to apologize to you all. And maybe that sounds like I'm stuck up, but I'm never going to apologize. Like if I have family stuff going on, family has to come first. So I'm not going to apologize for that. If I have to take a week off or whatever, I'll let you know, hey, it might be a week before I post, but I'm never going to say, I'm sorry I've let you down, because I don't feel that's the case. Family should come first for any YouTuber. If you have a good YouTube following, people are going to understand. You shouldn't have to apologize to them. If they're like, you haven't put out a video in a week, you suck. And then they're probably not the people that you want watching your videos. What else do we have? I could go on all sorts of rants like that. There's some There's some pretty sketchy stuff on YouTube, it seems like, lately. I've just kind of had to shake my head at it, but what do you do? My confidence bait, a close second is a stick bait. Yeah, like, so confidence baits. One on angling says, my confidence bait is what I figure out they're hitting for that day. A close second is a stick bait. And like a confidence bait can literally be made in like a couple outings. So I remember I was fishing, gosh, that's probably been like 5 years ago now. Me and Dad were out in the boat, and like I had caught fish on a jerk bait, but like never had a day where like we had it completely dialed in. And that day I remember we put together like 40 fish. I think I caught 40 fish off of basically 2 points. At one point I had 2 fish on my one jerk bait, so a solo double where I had 1 fish on each treble hook. That's how like stacked they were feeding on it. And just trying to put, those conditions, once you have a day like that, you'll be like, you'll see a day somewhat similar and be like, dude, I remember that day I smashed them on this. I'm going to throw this. And even if they aren't necessarily hitting that, the more time you have that lure in your hand, the more you're going to gain confidence in it. Even, I know it sounds weird, even if you're fishing it for a full day where it doesn't work, that's only going to add to your arsenal, because you're going to go, listen, there was a day where it was like this and they destroyed it. But then I fished a day like this. I thought it would work and I didn't get a single bite. And you'll start to see what's different in those days. Oh, well, actually, I was fishing a 10-foot jerkbait on this day where I destroyed him, and it was right next to a super steep drop-off. And this day I was fishing a 6-foot jerkbait on just a regular flat and didn't get anything. It's small things like that. And I am by no means a pro. Like, if I tried to do any sort of pro stuff, they would eat me alive. I'm staying within my lane and being realistic here. But even just a regular weekend angler like myself, you're going to start to pick up those patterns and start to figure stuff out. It kind of goes back to jiu-jitsu. I did jits for 13 years. And like, there's a time where literally in jiu-jitsu, you're trying to stay like a step or two ahead of your opponent, right? So like if you go for, I don't know if you watch MMA or anything, but if you go for an arm bar, there's multiple times where I'd be going for an arm bar. I didn't even care if I got that. I knew what they were going to do to react to defend that arm bar, and I could go like into a triangle or kimura. So that's kind of the way it gets with bass fishing. You start to like figure these things out and it starts to click. So that's the best way I can give you an analogy on that. I don't know, maybe some people are like, Debo, that doesn't make any sense. The hell are you talking about? I'm a simple man. I see a lot of people saying, yep, family comes first. Amen. Yes, it does. I see Fishing with Gramps had a donation. This one before I lose it. Have you ever used the Lose Custom Pro speed spinning reel? Lose Custom Pro. Oh, is that the Lose Custom Pro speed spin? Is that the $120 one? Is that like their high price one? Let me look it up here real quick. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys and being a phone jerk. You ever have that where you're trying to talk to someone and they're just looking at their phone the whole time? They're like, oh, yeah. And you can tell they're totally not listening to you. I'm not being that guy right now. I'm looking up the Lose speed spin. Because if it is, I used that one and I honestly wasn't impressed with it. Lose Custom Pro Speed Spin. Yeah. So that's their $129 reel. I love Lose stuff, and I'm not trying to bash them or anything, but that's the $129 Lose reel. I personally like my $100 Daiwa Fuego better. I actually like their, I think the Lose Custom Pro, is it an aluminum frame? That might have been the only thing it had going for it. Yeah, aluminum body and side plate. I've actually liked the Mach 2 that I got, which is an $80 reel. Nothing special, but I haven't had any complaints with that at all. Feels good. The Daiwa Fuego is a great reel. I got that one on sale for like $75. The Shimano, I have to remember because I've got one of the old ones that's discontinued, and I like that one. I can't recommend it anymore because you can't get it. The Shimano Sedona. Shimano Sedona is like $69, $70 reel. Love that one. Now, I probably wouldn't have ever bought that like normally, but I actually got that reel for, I think, $20, $18 at Gander Mountain when it went out of business. Love that reel. So, I mean, there's a ton of them out there. The Okuma ITX I've been using, $99 reel. I really like that one. So I'm not putting Lose down or anything. I love their stuff. I've got a ton of Lose stuff back there. But I just wasn't really impressed with that reel. I think for the money, you can get something just as good for a lower price. But yeah, Lose makes good stuff. I love some of their bait casters. Ask, will you ever shave your beard? No, I look like a complete imbecile when I don't have any facial hair. And I already look like an imbecile with facial hair. So if you can imagine me without any, good Lord, I'd lose like 100,000 subscribers. Okay, fishing with Gramps. The next time I visit that spot I showed you, there will only be frogs in the yak, plus one wacky rig for missed blowups. I will catch one. Yeah, that's the thing with frogs is I think people like, because I've heard people talk about like, oh, the frog is so big and it doesn't look natural. And I think as a beginner, just a flat deal across the board, as a beginner, you tend to gravitate toward smaller lures because, you know, as a beginner, you're starting out probably fishing grubs, smaller swim baits, like smaller inline spinners, or it might even just be like a little worm on a bobber, you know. But if you're starting out and I hand you an 11-inch worm and say, trust me, you can catch dinks, you can catch anything on this. As a beginner, you're probably going to be like, this dude's an idiot. This is an 11-inch plastic worm. You're not going to catch crap on this. And I remember a number of people saying that to me about a frog, like they would ask me questions. But the thing with like a frog is you have to remember, like when a bass is looking at that, looking up from it, you know, from below, they're just seeing that silhouette. So they're not seeing, I have one here. I had one and I had to move it because I didn't want Stubby eating it. Mr. Stubbs has a tendency to eat things that he shouldn't. How do I not have a frog sitting here around me? But like when a bass is looking up at a frog, it's actually a pretty small silhouette that they're looking at. And it's really not imitating the frog that you're looking at. You know, you look at a rubber frog from the top, like a hollow body frog, they look stupid. Like it's got the big eyes and like they don't look natural at all. And then you've got them in all kinds of different colors. But if you're a fish looking up at it and you're walking it, they're not getting a good look at that, right? They're not seeing the whole frog. They're just looking at the bottom of it. And a lot of times they're just going to react to it. And I've told people before, it's like if I'm sitting in front of you and I throw a ball at you, you're going to react and try to grab it, right? Hopefully. You know, that's kind of the same thing with a bass. They're going to see some sort of food source go by and they're going to react and try to grab it. I don't even know where I was going with that. I think it was going to be don't be afraid to throw some of those lures that don't necessarily look natural or they might seem big. Because you can catch them with them. Yeah, like Fishing with Gramps is saying, like, you have to go out with only that. And I know I need to dedicate a day. I actually did. I had a day where I dedicated to swim baits and I didn't catch a damn thing. And that didn't aid in me being more confident or comfortable with them. But got to put it in your hand and go. Let's see. What else? I did see another come in. Neil again. G-Fam. Was there anybody before y'all? Oh, somebody said KVD1 Chickmaga. I didn't realize it was there. Like Chick. Okay, so next up we have my guy G-Fan Kim. It ain't easy handling all these questions on live. So here, take a breath. And I can't believe it. We have 295 people watching me, some guy in his basement, talk about fishing. Y'all are awesome. I love you. My guy Neil, does YouTube take half of the donations? I don't know how that works. I don't make much on YouTube, but when you get the check, it's just like a check. It doesn't show a breakdown. I'm sure there's a way to go in there and look at that. I don't know how that works. That's a good question. I can tell you that YouTube, and actually Burley and Paula talked about this on their lives, is if you get into YouTube trying to make money, you are in the wrong business, my friend, because you're going to be working a lot of hours, a lot of editing. It's not just going out and fishing. People think it's like this dream life of like you go out and fish and just record it, throw it on a computer, and you're done. But like you're trying to figure out how to optimize views, you know, for the videos. How can I get the most views out of this? Which I guess for me, I care about. I don't want it to make it some clickbait BS where it's like, you know, the biggest monster ever caught. And it's like, well, you caught a 10-pound pike. Like, you know, I don't know what's going on here. So, you know, how can I optimize it and make the best out of my video to make it true for you all, but have it still be fun and entertaining? You know, then you've got editing. You've got the number of times I go out and don't catch anything, right? Or it's a day where like I catch a couple and something happens, like I lose the footage. That happens. Like it's such a struggle. So you're going to be negative on making any sort of money on YouTube for a long, long time, unless you've got, you know, multiple partners you work with, you know, paid sponsorships. You have to have like multiple streams of income. If you look at any of the big YouTubers, they've all got multiple streams of income. It's not just they do YouTube videos and make millions on YouTube, right? So that's kind of the hard part of it. Let's see what else. Mr. Scout Fishing. I was wondering, what was your best summer cat rig? Oh, Lord. Also, it'd be really cool to get a shout out since I'm just starting a YouTube channel inspired by you. Well, Mr. Scout Fishing, here's your shout out, sir. Hopefully people flood your channel. My best summer cat rig, dude, I'm the wrong person to ask for that. I would go out and search summer cat fishing. There's people that can help you out way more than that. I honestly don't do cat fishing. I inadvertently hook catfish on a chatterbait, it seems like most. And dragging a Texas rig, I'd say. So I really can't help you there. But those are all kinds of YouTube videos of people doing live bait and cut bait and all that stuff. But yeah, good luck on the YouTube channel, man. It's a grind, but it is a lot of fun. Let's see, what time is it? Oh man, we are coming up on an hour. We have 300. We just hit 300 people. You all are too dang awesome. People saying I understand the grind. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Jason Walk says, Debo, your voice is almost hypnotic when you talk fishing. Well, I'm sorry, it's not supposed to be. Maybe I need to start an ASMR channel. Bass fishing, lures, Texas rigs. That didn't sound like an ASMR channel. It sounded like something else. Caught 10 bass. Dang, Dan B. So what up, Debo? I caught 10 bass over 3 pounds today on a 10.25-inch Berkeley worm. Dang, dude, that's a darn good day of fishing, dude. Peter Bonnell, do you have any tips for pike fishing? I'm not a pike fishing connoisseur. Next to bass fishing, pike topwater is probably my favorite. I fish them the same way I do for bass. Buzzbait, any sort of like plopping thing, whopper plopper, buzzbait, along grass lines. Pike love to just patrol along, like if you have good grass lines or good hard lines of vegetation and stuff. They also like to sit in cover, just like bass. If you're fishing like river backwaters, they love to sit like in that slack, waiting for something to come by where you've got current. So I fish them the same way I do bass. Otherwise, like inline spinners is how I used to catch them. But otherwise, I don't, or spinner baits, I should say. I'm sorry. Spinner baits are like an inline spinner. But I fish them the same way I do bass. I don't go out and target like deep pike, you know, doing like big spoon stuff or any of that. I've never got to travel and do that. My old man did. He actually used to do a trip every, gosh, I don't remember what time of year he'd go, but they would fly into like someplace in Canada on, you know, some little sketchy plane and spend like a week in a cabin doing all that. I never did it. I was younger when he went up and did it. I should have. I missed out. But yeah, that'd be a ton of fun. I like pike fishing. I understand like the tournament guys don't like it because, you know, you're trying to make money and catch a bass and you catch one of those. It bites your chatterbait off. Chatterbait's another good one. You know, bites your lure off and like you're trying to make money. But for fun, like, dude, pike topwater, they're a hell of a lot of fun. What else do we have? What other questions do y'all have? We're coming up on an hour. Here in a little bit, I will be doing the giveaway. If you're still hanging around, I'm going to be giving this away. The Baitcast Extreme. It's their new, I think, $79 aluminum framed baitcaster. I'm assuming it's going to take place of the Pro Qualifier. I don't know. We should pop it open here. Does it have the same magnetic brakes? I should have grabbed the Pro Qualifier. I'm going to be doing a video on it. So I am giving this away, but I am going to do like an unboxing type video, go over the specifications, compare it to some stuff, and then take it out and cast it. And then once I've done that video next week, I will send this out to a random winner that I picked tonight. You have to answer a trivia question. So make sure to stay tuned. We'll do that here in just a bit. I've seen a number of people talking about ollies. Fish in the Southeast, he's a supporter of the channel. Thank you, man. He actually won my giveaway, and then I think Burley's in the same night. Lucky dog. Just picked up a ton of Lucky Craft crankbaits from Ollie's Bargain Outlet. Instead of $10, they're like $5. You guys might want to go pick some up. Well, I don't have an Ollie's around here. I think it's more of a southern thing. We don't have any at all. I've heard a lot of people talk about Ollie's. The biggest, I spent way too much. But when Gander Mountain went out of business, they went out twice. And the first time I didn't take near as good advantage of it because like stuff was gone quick. But I remember I filled up like 2 of their bags with like terminal stuff. So like treble, they were selling like the 11 packs of Gamakatsu treble hooks for like 90 cents each, which normally those are what, $7, I want to say, $8. I don't know what they are, 90 cents each. So I bought a crap ton of terminal stuff. And that was like 5 years before it went out of business. That would have been 2019, right? Yeah, 2019, I think, is when they closed for the second time when they were Gander Outdoors. But yeah, that's the other thing is when you find a good sale, don't be afraid to stock up if it's stuff you use a lot. I know it seems like a lot then, but you're saving money over time because you're not buying that stuff for, X amount, whatever it is later. So, okay, what else do we have? People asking if I've used the Lose Speed Spin. It's the all white one. I don't think I have used that one. Sorry, my friend. What else? From my experience, rods, people talking about a certain rod. I literally went from fishing no frogs. Here's Gene. I seen something about frogs. I literally went from fishing no frogs to having 9 different frogs in my arsenal since watching my channel. Hopefully my frog fishing is rubbing off on all of you because I truly believe it is one of the best times you can have fishing. I know fishing is something different for everyone, but and I even had somebody say, like, do you just love frog fishing because it's the cool thing to do? And then they went on some other rant, which always makes me chuckle because I'm like, what? Like, you don't even know me. How are you assuming this? No, I love the sound of a cannonball hitting the water and then setting the hook and you can't even move. And then you're trying to winch them through all the gross slop and everything. It's just so dang fun to me. What else do we have? Let me know questions. I'm trying to scroll back, but if you guys have something that's like really important, drop something over in the chat here for me. I've never looked at ollies. People talking about spooks. I didn't really get on when they're talking about like a spook, like a Zara spook, head and Zara spook, like your walking bait, like a pencil topwater walking bait. I didn't get on a good bite this year. Usually I always get on a good a walking bait bite early in there. It was weird though. Like this spring was like super strange. And even now going into summer, it's been kind of a weird year for fishing. But I didn't get on a killer walking bait bite this fall. I guarantee I will though. What baits do you recommend for Ohio now? Man, I have no idea for Ohio. What are your water temps? And what kind of water do you fish? I will try to help you if you leave that information there. Thoughts on the Shimano SLX XT, Jack? Not the XT, the regular SLX, I believe, is one of the best $99 reels on the market. The XT is essentially the SLX with variable brakes, so it's got a little bit better braking system to it. Both reels I like a ton. I would recommend either of them any day. I'm actually going to be doing a video on that. I have not reviewed the SLX XT yet, but I'm going to put all that information in there with it compared to just the regular SLX. I've had a bunch of people asking, and dang, I have not done it yet. I'm so far behind on gear reviews. Like, gear reviews are some of my favorite stuff to do, but it's just like finding a time and place to do it. And now like my review stuff used to be over here, but my wife rearranged everything, which is amazing because now I've got like my own painting table and all my paints are like set up next to me. If you've ever seen me do my painting breakdown, it's amazing. Like, it's so much more organized, but my painting table took up where I used to just leave a spot set up on the table where I could do unboxings and like gear reviews and stuff. It took up all that. So like I need to figure out a new place to set it up because the problem is I have to take like my whole paint station down and put something else like down for the background and like get everything set up. And it's just such a pain in the butt. I've honestly just slacked because it's like I have to think ahead and get it all ready. And a lot of times, like when I have time to shoot a video, it might just be like an hour, 2 hours, and then like I have something else going on. So damn, I need to get that set up because yeah, gear, like I'm a huge gear nerd. If you can't tell, I've got a couple reels. You might see them back there. I've got a couple reels back there. I love testing stuff out. And I think it kind of came from like, being a kid. Dad and I didn't have a bunch of money. So Dad would try to buy, what we could. And we'd, find good sales on stuff. But we never had like, the super expensive stuff or anything like that. And you don't need it. But, thanks to, folks like you all out there donating and supporting the channel, we can do that. And I'm trying to give back to you all now through giveaways like this. I just helped out Midwest Warriors. I just sent him a box of stuff for a giveaway. It's actually a fundraiser type deal, a reel and some stuff. So I want to do more giveaways. And I want to do who was that asked about Ohio. It's been Bluebird Skies. Was that you? I don't remember who asked about it. 72 degrees, Bluebird Skies. Was it Christopher Conkright? You know what? I think this is a perfect time. Hit me up on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, go sign up for it. hit me up. I will have a conversation with you, and I'm going to start a series with you. I'm not going to go into all the details, but it will be specific to certain parts of the country, and there will be a giveaway involved. So, Christopher, hit me up. You are the start of that. But that's another way I've had planned giving back to people. I've just been so damn busy with stuff, and I feel like a jerk, but I've been so damn busy I haven't been able to do it. So that'll be another series I'm starting up where I'm going to try to pick a person, talk about the places they fish, how they fish it, do a video of it, try to find a place around here that matches that, go through the stuff, and then hook them up with some stuff at the end. So what else do we have? I saw a question about, what was it? Yes. So I think, was there any other donations besides? I don't want to make sure I didn't miss any of my donations. You guys mean a lot. I don't think so. I'm sure I've probably had a Guggen question. I always get a Guggen question. I don't hate the Guggens. I don't love and use only the Guggens. I feel like that's how every Guggen question has to be. You love the Guggens and use only their stuff. You hate the Guggens. I'm in the middle. I think they make some cool baits. I think some of the baits are eh. There was a question about gear ratio. So gear ratio, I feel like gets beat up on a lot. I tell people that like a 7-speed gear ratio reel is my all-around favorite. Like you don't have to go crazy about it. Like a 7.1, 7.2 loses like a 7.5. It depends on the company. But if you get a 7-speed reel, you can really do anything. In my summer lure video I'm talking about on Monday, if you watch that one, there's a lure that I'm talking about that most people will tell you that you need a really high-speed reel. And a high-speed reel does help because you're going to do less work reeling that lure in. But I actually have a video where I've, like a week before that, was fishing this same lure and was using a 6.4 speed reel, a reel you would normally not use with that. You can still get away with it. You just have to crank faster. So there are pros and cons to certain gear ratios. A lower speed reel is going to have more torque. So if you're fishing something with more drag, like a bigger spinnerbait with larger spinnerbait blades, you're trying to grind that in with like a high-speed reel. It's going to be a huge workout. You look at those musky guys that are fishing like big musky baits. Generally, they're going with a lower gear ratio reel, right? It's kind of like a bike. When you start at a bike, you're in a low gear ratio because it's easier to pedal. And then as you start going faster, you're going to go to a higher speed to keep gaining speed. Same thing with baitcasters, but I personally don't put too much work into it or thought into it. I go with a 7-speed. There are some things I like certain speeds for, but if you get a 7-speed, you'll be fine. Take a breath, Debo. Good golly. Hey, Jeff Lauer. You rock. Ice cream funds for you and the girls. Jeff, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. They did have, so my old lady, my dad has been, he did a big garden at my grandparents, so he's been playing Farmer Papa. The girls call him Papa. And they brought down a whole ton of strawberries. So my old lady made like a strawberry puree stuff, and she got these like, remember those icy pops you used to get when you were a kid, like they were liquid, and then you froze them and they turn into like an ice pop deal? She got some things like that and poured those, and they've been loving those. So, but we will go out and get some ice cream. They do love ice cream. I'm not a huge ice cream guy, but I eat it every once in a while. All right, we're at an hour. You know what? I'm going to do a giveaway. That way, if you're just here for the giveaway and you got other stuff to do, you can roll on out because it is Father's Day weekend, so you might have plans. But giveaway. First person that I see answer this question on my screen, you're going to be the winner. Now, I know I don't want to hear any backlash of, well, I was first on my screen. I'm going by my screen, by internet. I'm sorry. What is my old man's favorite color of worm to throw? First person with the correct answer gets this. You'll have to hit me up on Instagram. Like I said, you'll get it after I do the review on it. Tequila. Oh, my gosh, they're coming in now. Braden Smith is the first guy to show on my screen. Braden Smith, you win the reel. Damn, you guys are quick. I have a lot of people that are a fan of the channel. Look at this. My old man would be proud. I see a whole ton of Tequila Sunrises come in. Braden, you're the winner, my friend. Braden, are you the same Braden the football Braden that we talk back and forth? Let me know. Hit me up on Instagram, Braden Smith. Hopefully you have Instagram. You are the lucky winner tonight. But it was Tequila Sunrise. Did I say that? I don't know if I said it. Tequila Sunrise. My old man would slap me if I said any other color besides Tequila Sunrise. Oh, it is Braden. Awesome, dude. You are a good guy. Just recently got engaged. Cool. Let's see. Well, if y'all are going to stay around, I'm going to go for another half hour. I don't know if Baxter's still in here. Baxter Bateman. He's going live at 9 Central. If you guys don't have anything to do, please go flood his channel. He is a super nice guy. He's doing some jig making. He got some stuff from Do It. Do It's a local Iowa company here. So it should be a lot of fun. Go hang out on his channel. If you want to get somebody that's knowledgeable, he hangs out with pros. He's been around pros since he's a kid, has more bait knowledge than I will ever have. He's super fun to listen to and nerd out if you like that stuff. So go show him some support. I saw a red shad. So funny enough, red shad was my worm color. And I always told Dad that like I would beat him with red shad. It was a better color. Nah. Adam, yeah, motor oil was another one of our favorites when I was younger. You don't see motor oil much anymore. It's kind of like, now I have to watch myself here. It's kind of like root beer. I had a bunch of people making fun of me because I just call it root beer. Apparently it's not pronounced root beer. It's root beer. But root beer was another one of my favorites to throw. All right, so we're at an hour 5. What do you guys want to talk about? Can we talk for another 25 minutes? Do you guys care to listen to me talk that much? Oh, Fat Boy says, what is your favorite color? Well, if I'm going from just like all around use, green pumpkin. Like if I go to a place and I don't know what to throw, I will put on green pumpkin. Green pumpkin works in clear water. It works in stained water. It even works in muddy water. You can dye the tip on it, like with some chartreuse. Like if I only had one for sure, it would be green pumpkin. I did see somebody, who was it? I think somebody just said it. Somebody asked Junebug. It wasn't Junebug. I thought I just saw somebody put it on there. Tramp stamp. There it is. Tramp stamp is my favorite. If I could have like one favorite color, a tramp stamp is a Reaction Innovations color. There's a number of different, I think Missile Baits calls theirs Superbug. I don't think I have air out here to do it. Oh, sorry, I dropped y'all. No, I don't think I have any here, but it's like, if you look at the top of it, it's like a black and bluish / Junebug. Some companies, it's like a Junebug color with like a green pumpkinish on the bottom. So it's like a laminate. It's like a two-tone. Junebug-ish, black and blue on top, green pumpkinish on the bottom. I love that color. Damn, Nick, we should have just had you on. I should have hit you up before. I didn't even think about it, man. Damn it. He's helping the stream going. Thank you, Fat Boy Fishing. I appreciate you, man. Let's see. What else? Do we want to know some Debo questions? Black and blue or green pumpkin? Yeah, Dave, honestly, that's a good point, because like here in Iowa, black and blue seems to do great. Like on a jig, I was catching fish, gin clear water, black and blue. Now, keep in mind they were dinks, like 1 pound dinks, but they were crushing it like they were big. Crappy Kev says my favorite color is black grape. I honestly do tend to go to a black and purple over black and blue. I think black and purple is underrated. It's kind of like black and blue. It's kind of like Junebug, you know. I think black and purple I tend to gravitate toward that a lot. But what else? People asking about rods, St. Croix rods. So I actually, until, what was that? 2 years ago, I got the St. Croix Triumph. Maybe that was last year when it came out. I got the new Triumph spinning rod. I got like a medium light. I was using it for some trout stuff. I did a little bit of bass fishing with it. But I honestly, before that, had never used a St. Croix rod. And then I just got the, what is it, the Victory or whatever the new one is. I did pick one of those up. I had something different tied on it, so I haven't used it much. But, yeah. What else? Talk chatterbaits. Favorite chatterbait. Tune into my video Monday. I'm going to give it away. One of my favorite summer lures is the chatterbait vibrating jig, and that will be in the video. But I've said it before. I think the best one is the chatterbait custom. It's a Tackle Warehouse exclusive. I think for the money, it's the best bang for the buck. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact. Like, the thing that seems weird to me on like the regular chatterbait is how big the hook is. Like the hook doesn't match the chatterbait to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But it seems like a little bit big for it unless you go with like a bigger, heavier weight. So I tend to gravitate toward that. Like if you look at the like the Thunder Cricket or the Jackhammer, like the hook matches the lure more. Like Just the regular chatterbait seems like it has this huge, I don't know if it's like a 5/0 hook. I don't know. It seems weird. Maybe that's just me, but I do enjoy me some chatterbait fishing. Black and blue. I see a number of people saying, yep, black and blue flake, black and blue flake. That is a killer around here. Watermelon red or June bug. I don't need anything else. That's interesting. TJ Ellis says watermelon red flake or June bug. Watermelon red is honestly something that I don't throw a ton. I really don't have a bunch of confidence in it. I will pick up green pumpkin over watermelon red all day. But that day you watched me just a couple videos ago where I had I think I ended up with like a 16-pound bag that day, which is good for me, the Dink Master. Everything was on a watermelon red wacky rig. So, damn, we got a big donation that just came in. Vince, that is too dang kind of you, man. With a huge donation. Vince, thank you very much, man. Tips for someone with an incredible, horrible hookup ratio frog fishing. Okay, so I had to have this conversation with Dizzle the other night because I don't think I got it on camera, but this was the same day where Dizzle missed 10 or whatever fish that morning, like big blow-ups. He's like, dude, I saw one come out and it was a big bass. And then we were fishing that night and I caught 2 fish and then I stuck a really good fish. And he had already missed a couple, then he missed a big blow up, and I think he ended up throwing his rod. So I hate to give him crap now. I know he's dealing with some stuff right now, but I love you, brother. But he ended up throwing his rod, and I had to have to talk with him. I'm like, dude, okay, listen, frog fishing is number one. It could be a pike. Pike have horrible aim. I don't know what it is, but like I was saying earlier, I've literally watched pike come up and miss it a second late. It could be pike. It could be small bass. For somebody that doesn't fish frogs a lot, I've gone out with a couple guys and they're like, dude, I had a bunch of good blowups. And you can tell it's smaller fish just kind of hitting at it. And you can't be mad about that. If you're fishing a larger frog, the first thing I tell people is, if you're in a place where you don't think there's a ton of big fish, I don't have my frog box here, go to a smaller frog. There's multiple different types and sizes of frogs. So the River to Sea Bullywah 2. Loved that one last year. It's got 2 sizes. I personally didn't like the smaller size, but if you're somebody fishing a smaller pond or something where you're the biggest bass in that pond might be 2.5 pounds, a smaller frog will come in handy. It's just a smaller, more compact profile. The second thing I always do is trim the legs. So depending on the company, I think now some people don't. I would say some people don't necessarily think about the legs, they just pick it out and throw it. But a lot of the guys that fish frogs a lot, you'll hear them talk about trimming the legs. And a lot of companies will do that. They'll trim it to about the size of the frog. I'll usually trim mine to about 2 inches. The funny thing is my finger from this wrinkle bend mark here to the tip of my finger is 3 inches. So if I'm just measuring stuff, that's 2 inches right there. So I will cut the frog legs to about 2 inches, and that gives it an even more compact profile, because if you leave the legs on it, they have some of the legs are huge and long, and they might be out here, dangling in the water, and they're trying to hit some sort of movement. So I would say try a smaller frog, trim the legs, and it depends on where you're fishing. If you can get away with it, you can bend the hooks up. So, and again, depending on the frog, the Booyah Pad Crasher is notorious for it. The hooks, how can I put it? The hooks will lay under the body. Now, if you look at a scum frog, the whatever the new ones are called, gosh, I forget what those are called. The new ones they have out, the hooks are already kind of bent up. But if you're fishing a frog where the hooks are down in toward the body or they're flat, take that hook and bend it up just barely above the body. And with that hook point being up, when you set the hook, it's already up and going to go into their mouth. And that's another thing is when you set the hook, try to set as close to straight up as you can. I still have the bad habit of setting kind of it would be 2 o'clock because of the GoPro, but try to set straight up, trim the legs, bend the hook up, and go to a smaller frog. Hopefully that helps, Vince. Vince, I will do a dedicated frog video. I will try to remember to shout you out. I don't have anything here to write down, but shout you out in that frog video. I need to do that soon. So Vince, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that a lot. Donna says, all these questions, not one was recognized by Fat Boy. I don't know what that means. Donna, are you asking a bunch of questions? Donna, do you have a... Donna, let's see. Donna, do you have an... Okay, I'm very upset. I posted 6 questions and wished you happy Father's Day, and you skipped over everyone. I'm a little... Donna, there's a bajillion questions out there. It is nothing personal. I'm trying to get through all these questions, and it is hard. So, Donna, what question did you have? Donna, leave your question in the chat right now. I'm not going to scroll all the way back. Check it out. Shout it out or type it in the comments now. I will get to it. Donna, no need to be angry. Nothing but love here. I'd give you a hug if I could. Fish in the Southeast. Debo, can I please have a shout out trying to get to 500 subs so you can do it, so you can do a big giveaway? Fish in the Southeast promotes me. Fish in the Southeast, I'll promote you. There it is. There's a shout out for you. Guys, go subscribe to Fish in the Southeast. Good dude who supports me. I appreciate you always hopping in my lives, man. Mike, you can go higher than 40-pound braid. Okay. I'm probably going to be – I get beat up on this a lot. Okay, so here's a funny thing to talk about. Fishing line size. So I'll have people like ridicule me for using 50-pound braid for frog fishing, right? And people will tell me, dude, Debo, you're an idiot. I can catch bass on 4-pound mono. I'm well aware of that. I catch fish ice fishing on 3-pound mono. That's my regular small jig setup. The problem is these people often are fishing open water and not around any sort of thick pads, thick grass, or thick wood. If you try to catch a bass on 4-pound mono and thick wood, you're not getting it out. And if you do, because I'll have that one guy that says, I do it all the time and never get broke, you're going to get the day where you break off. Trust me. I actually had a bad day, a bad 2 outings with a 50-pound braid. I broke off on hook sets. I checked my rod. I checked all my guides. In the vid coming up, the night that I actually stuck that good frog fish, I had switched just before that to a different braid and didn't have any issues. So what was this question? Where was it even going? You can go higher than 40-pound braid, but I severely get hung up a tree branch and the hook bent out on 6-inch big fungus and the snap. You really don't need more than 40. So that's fine. Yeah, and I'm not trying to tell anybody it's the wrong way of doing it, Mike. I have a number of people tell me they don't go over 40-pound. I personally do not go under 50-pound. My personal favorite is 65-pound braid for frog fishing. And just because, like, if you've never fished really, really, really thick stuff, like when you get fishing at, it's sketch. And just because you've got the heavy braid doesn't mean you can like take your time with them. As soon as you hit a frog fish, you hit them with that frog hook set, you're winching them in. It's not like you're trying to play the fish. It's not like 4-pound mono where you're letting it take drag out. You've got to get them in, because I can't tell you how many fish I've lost. They dig down in there deep and you literally can't move them, and then they're off. And it's like, it's such an awful feeling. But yeah, I know some people that swear by 40-pound. It's a personal confidence thing. I don't go below 50. Like Josh Robbins just said, he said, LOL, I use 20 to 30-pound braid. Yeah, dude, it works for some people. Like I am not the be all end all. Again, I am not a pro. I just try to tell you my reasoning behind what I do, but I am never going to say you're doing it wrong. About the only time I might tell you you're doing something wrong and you need to change is if you've got a spinning reel upside down, spinning it backwards. Spinning rods aren't made to be fished that way. You're going to end up breaking something. It's not efficient. It's not how it works. That's one of the few times I will say you're doing it wrong. But hey, if you're catching fish on it and it works, who am I to say? Okay, so I got Mike's question. Purple Cottonmouth with the donation. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Let's see. What's Donna got? Donna, where's your question? Is Donna still in here, or did she leave? She got angry enough she just took off. Donna, come on. I would have gave you a hug. Where is she? I'm still here, she says. Okay. Donna, what's your question? I told you to leave me your question. I'm going to get to it. I see donations coming in, but I don't see a Donna question. But I put all them questions and not one was recognized. Okay, well, Donna, get to it. Come on. Type it in there. I'll get to it. Purple Cottonmouth. There we go. He left a question. Tips for fishing a highly pressured pond with snotgrass / soft bottom. I'm not sure what snotgrass is. I am not a what would it be? What would a degree in horticulture be? Horticulturalist? I don't know. I am really bad when it comes to like aquatic vegetation. I know, like, we call it around here coontail, which is like hydrilla type stuff. And the rest of the stuff, I just make up names for it. So I'm not sure what snotgrass is, but if it's the slimy stuff that I'm thinking of. Okay, so if I'm fishing a pressured spot, I'm thinking either downsize or do something completely different from what most people are doing. So in a lot of the places around here, that might be like, you see a lot of people throwing like a regular 5-6 inch stick bait, like Texas rigged. So I might be thinking downsize to a more finesse or a different type of wacky rig, right? Not a lot of people throw wacky rigs. Most people go to like a Texas rig, or if you see a lot of people throwing crankbaits, like if you've got a little bit of rock, you're not, I know you say you don't. Instead of throwing like a big loud crankbait, try to go to something smaller that's silent. People overlook silent crankbaits all the time. So if you're fishing a highly pressured pond, I would say something subtle. If it's got soft bottom, a couple of the best ways you can attack it are any sort of vegetation line or those high pressure areas that I was talking about before. So like if you've got like a rock hump or a brush pile, any sort of lay down wood, brush, anything like that that you can visually see, try to attack that with something like a do nothing wacky rig. So like that Missile Baits 48 I've been using this year, love it. It's a little bit different look. Not a lot of people throw that. The other way you can attack it is with, they call it like a mojo rig or a split shot rig. It's essentially like a finesse downsized Carolina rig. And the reason that's so effective is because you'll have like, so you Texas rig a little like soft plastic, like a craw or something on back. And then you've got your line, let's say you've got 12-pound line going down to like a split shot, or you can even do like, I call it the poor man, the Midwest version of the Carolina rig, which is just like you take a regular Texas rig, like a bullet weight, like a quarter-ounce bullet weight, and put your bobber stop in front of it, slide it down, put your weight on, slide it down, and then put another bobber stop behind it. So you've got like a foot or so of line that goes all the way down to your weight. And that's super effective because you can cast that out like a finesse Carolina rig, drag that weight on the bottom, and it doesn't matter if that's getting in gunk and stuff. Your soft plastic can kind of float back here, unobstructed by all the stuff on the bottom. So you can kind of bounce it, you can drag it, but your soft plastic doesn't have weight where it's digging down in and getting all, snotted up or gunked up on a soft bottom. Soft bottoms kind of suck because you can't really throw like a jig or like a shaky head. You're just going to be trudging up the gross stuff on the bottom. So that's how I usually go about that. Or I try to stay above and outside of that. So if you've got like a pressured pond, a lot of ponds around here like kind of shaped like a fishbowl. So they might be kind of round and it looks like all the sides kind of go down. But generally you'll still have one side that's either shallower, where it's got like almost like a beach where it's a gradual drop, and one side usually that's a little bit deeper. And in the summer, fish are generally going to gravitate toward that deeper side. And that can kind of be like, folks can misconstrue that because you hear about, the pros fishing deep water, 30 feet, they're out, in the middle of the lake suspended. But if you have a pond, the deepest point in that pond might be 8 feet, right? So it might be the difference of everywhere in the pond, it's like 3 to 4 feet versus the one deep side where it gets down to like 8 feet. Trying to fish, somewhere in that, and then you can fish, whatever you've got, chatterbait, spinnerbait, swim bait. Try to find those spots where it's deeper. So hopefully that helps out, man. Thank you very much for the donation. Okay, what do we have? Donna, did you throw your? Okay, I see a Donna there. Let me go back and make sure I didn't miss anything from Donna. Mike. Okay, Donna says she's still here. All right, so this is the one I saw first from Donna. I just wanted to know, because I bank fish most of the time with my kids, what's the best lure for a rainy day fishing? My old man would say if you've got a rainy day during summer, you better throw a buzzbait. And I agree. Like usually if you've got rain during the summer, you're going to have cloud cover, you've got rain. And even in the summer, if you can find a spot that's a little bit cooler, it's hard to do from the bank, but any of that water that's a little bit cooler than everything else around it, like if you have a discharge, something where there's water moving, usually that's going to be more oxygenated and it's going to be a little bit cooler. But I would say a buzzbait for sure. I've had some killer days with a buzzbait. Same thing for a spinnerbait. And when you've got a day like that where it's cloudy, you've got rain, you've probably got wind too with the storm system coming in. I'm fishing that spinnerbait within like 6 inches of the top of the water. So I'm not slow rolling that spinnerbait down. I want that to be as close to the top as I can because there's going to be all sorts of ripples, all sorts of stuff breaking that up when those fish are looking up. And often they are going to be feeding up with the rain. That spinnerbait is completely broken up. I've had really good days with that. those would be my two that come first to mind. And it could be like a swim jig if you don't have a spinnerbait. It could be like a swim jig, chatterbait, just something fish just below the surface. I mean, you could even go to like a buzz frog. You could try a whopper plopper if you have some of those. But hopefully some of those help. And then, of course, any of the high percentage areas, throw, you know, Texas rig, something like that. But generally, you'll have some fish moving around. So, Donna, hopefully that answers your question. I'm sorry I missed your Donna says, Happy Father's Day, Debo. I'm a mom/dad, but you're awesome. Well, thank you, Donna. Hopefully that helps you out. What else do we have? All right, we're at an hour 25. We still have 255 people in here. You guys and gals are freaking awesome. I did see a couple donations coming in. I'm sorry I've missed so many of the questions. Gerard Martin bought the Okuma Serrano. Want to get the Luz Xfinity. How are you liking it? I've noticed it's only 6'3" medium heavy. Will it throw most average baits? I don't know about the Luz Xfinity. If you're talking about that one, mine is short. So I'm not sure if you mean that one or the Serrano. The Luz Xfinity combo that I have, so that's the $99 combo from Walmart, if anybody's wondering. I want to say mine's like a 6'8" or a 6'10" medium heavy, I think. So I'm not sure. Maybe it depends where you get it. Will it throw most average baits? Yeah, for sure. Like anywhere from like a 6'10" to a 7'2"-ish, 3-ish is my favorite do it all. Medium heavy, rated for lures up to 3/4 or 1 ounce, by far is my favorite. You know, a little bit shorter if you're around, like a lot of guys will go with a shorter spinnerbait rod, you know, because you're flipping and pitching, you know, not actually flipping and pitching, but, you know, flipping and back casting in and around a bunch of wood. You're a lot more accurate with a shorter rod as opposed to going with like a 7'5" for a spinnerbait and all that when you can't, you know, necessarily hit next to all that wood and stuff. But yeah, like a medium heavy rated for 3/4 or 1 ounce is my favorite for sure. The Okuma Serrano rod I like a lot. Yeah, I've got a couple of them. That's actually my frog rod I'm using. So far, I am digging it. Let's see. The next one I had come in, James. James says, Happy Father's Day. Hey, everyone, take your father fishing. Yes, take your father fishing. Take your kid fishing. Go out and have fun. The biggest thing is just have fun. Have fun with fishing. All right, we are almost at an hour and a half. I'm going to take 3 more questions. So I'm sorry if I have missed your questions. Now's your time. Oh, it's pronounced Jared Martin. I'm sorry, man. My bad. My bad. I'm not an English major. I do butcher names on the frequent. Okay, what's your favorite? Jack. Jack gets the first question. What's your favorite thing to throw in the middle of the day when it's sunny? This year, hands down, has been a wacky rig. Each year it kind of changes. It's kind of funny because I've talked about this before on my channel. I mean, like four years ago, maybe it was. I couldn't take the shaky head out of my hand. Like I could go anywhere and felt like I could catch fish on a shaky head. Last year, what was last year? I don't even know. This year for sure has been the wacky rig. Some sort of generally like when fishing is tough, bluebird skies. Generally the fish are going to be really tight and close to cover. So don't think because you have bluebird skies or it doesn't look like awesome fishing conditions, you can't catch, you can't catch fish and just stay home. I hear people say that all the time. The other day when it was bluebird skies when I caught that big fish on a Texas rig, and I was just flipping and pitching a Texas rig as close as I could to cover wood, stumps. The other day when I caught this fish on a wacky rig, it was pretty tough conditions. But again, I was working grass lines, things that were out of the normal that didn't match. So I would say wacky rig, a Texas rig stick bait. I feel like that gets used a lot, and people say, oh, it's such a great fish catcher, but I think it almost gets overlooked because so many people use that as just like an all-around go-to lure. So if that makes any sense. But I would try one of those, something that's a little bit more finesse. Let's see. Keep it wet. Best advice ever. Yes, that's the thing is you can't catch fish unless you've got a lure line wet in the water. If you say, well, I'm not going to catch anything today. Well, if you don't go out, I guarantee you'll not catch anything. But if you go out, you might catch a bunch of Debo dinks. Who's the dude? Caden said, who's the dude going live making jig? That's Baxter the Bait Man. If you just look up, what is it? Bateman TV, I think, is his actual YouTube name. Go check him out. He's going live right now. So I'm going to answer 2 more questions and get out of here so y'all can go flood Bateman's channel. Let's see. 2 more questions. Where are we? What do we got? What type and test the line for frogging? Anthony Davis asked a frog question. Tune into my video Monday. I will answer that question. I think you guys and gals all know the answer to that. World record bass. Oh, I didn't notice that you said world record bass. I thought it said my record bass or 100 bass in a day. That depends on how big those 100 bass are, because it very well could be over my personal best. World record bass, man, I feel like that would be a blessing and a curse altogether, because for sure, if I caught a bass that big, I would let it go. I would not be a person that would take it in and because I think for the Guinness Book of World Records, you have to like take it in. They have to like officially weigh it or whatever. So you essentially have to kill it, right? And if I caught a bass that big, man, there's no way I could kill it. I would take measurements and get a replica made. Then I'd have everybody saying, "Oh, Debo caught that. It was just a fluke. He never catches big fish." Like I don't know. I think I'd have to go with the 100 bass in a day and hope that one of them was more than my PB, and I'd be more than happy with that. Okay, 1 more question, and then we're getting out of here, y'all. Popper or regular frog? Dave, I'm actually going to go over that when I do that frog video, because I do have some pros and cons to each. Mike, how stupid is it to do bank fishing if lightning and thunder are present? I'm not going to say really stupid, but I would say it's extremely ill-advised. Don't do that. I'm okay fishing in the rain, but as soon as you hear thunder and lightning, get out of here. Favorite pizza? All right, my guy Fat Boy Fishing for supporting the whole night, answering questions in the comments. Nick, I'm gonna have you on a live here. I should have had you on tonight, damn it. My favorite pizza? I'm probably not in the favorite books of everyone, but I'm gonna say pineapple Canadian bacon. I love that. I also just like regular cheese pizza. I'm a huge fan of ranch, so I put ranch on all my pizza, no matter what. So I don't know, love it or hate it. Whatever pizza it is, I've got ranch on it. So that's going to do it for me tonight, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting my channel. It means a ton to me. Like I said, I think we had like 300 people in here at one point. That's freaking awesome for a guy in Iowa in his basement talking about fishing. So I'm out of here. We'll do it again next Saturday. I might have Nick on. We'll have somebody on. Who knows what the heck's going on. But get out for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody.